I'll show you that in 1 second as soon as I get this set up. All right, so we're just getting launched here. I hope everyone's doing well today. Hope you guys are having a great day. I'll show you that in 1 second. Okay. So I can actually show you guys this here. There you go. Okay. So let me share my screen with you guys. Hello. Hi, Alex. How's it going? All right. So let me share my screen with you guys. There you go. There's the screen share. All right. Can everyone see my screen? I'm assuming yes. Okay. Never really had a problem with it, but just in case. So what I was telling you guys earlier is we are also streaming right now on YouTube. You could see this live here. Almost looks kind of funny because it's like a mirror of what we were doing maybe 10 seconds ago. But basically, you can find us on YouTube here, and let me show you how to do this. You go to youtube.com, right? And this is where you could actually find the recordings of this webinar along with any other webinars. You could find our testimonials. There's lots and lots of good stuff. When you search for us, basically Lumiwealth, the name of our company, right? You search for Lumiwealth in YouTube. And here's all the stuff. You can see getting started with algorithmic trading. This is live right now. I don't know why it's this gold naked, not my face, but it's okay. So basically here is our recording live. So if you come to the YouTube channel, actually, I'll give you guys the link. We got a nice fancy new link now because we have enough followers to do this now. There we go. Let me send that off. So that's a link to our YouTube page. You guys can also search for it on YouTube. But basically here, you'll be able to find a lot of really good stuff, right? So our past live streams, these are a lot of our webinars in the past. If you want to watch our machine learning webinar or options webinar, it's all here. There's lots of other things too. If you go through our playlists, right, you'll see that we have the different types of playlists here. So we have options, we have blockchain, we have a couple of like things that I probably should get rid of. Elon Musk stuff that's like more personal kind of thing. But if you want to check it out, some cool stuff in there. And there's our past webinars, testimonials, if you guys want to watch testimonials by past students. So a lot of stuff in here. So definitely check out our YouTube channel. And also make sure that you like and subscribe. Kind of the general thing, smash that like button, that sort of thing, right? But seriously though, because actually we do a lot of free content on here. Like recently, we just released a bunch of new stuff on crypto, which we're interviewing actually a good friend of mine and someone who runs a crypto company. They built their own blockchain and they've done some really, really cool stuff. We spent a bunch of time interviewing him, talking about everything from DeFi to DAOs and all the crazy acronyms in crypto. Lots of good stuff in there. We've interviewed CEOs of large investment companies. There's lots of really good stuff on our YouTube channel. So I definitely recommend that you guys like and subscribe to us because you'll be the first one to see that content. And there's lots of good stuff in there to help you along your journey of investing and making money and learning how to code as well, right? How do we watch a private playlist with Elon? That's a good question, Alex. Is that a private playlist? I'm not sure what that is exactly. This is my liked videos. I guess we have some stuff in here, Elon Musk and whatever. This is probably accidental. Yeah, I don't know. I wish I interviewed Elon Musk. One day we'll work on that, but definitely love listening to the things that he says. I think he's definitely a genius. I think that's I think it's pretty obvious that Elon Musk at this point is a genius. I think it's easy to call him that. First civilian mission into around the orbit of the world. That's some really cool stuff, Anyways, thank you for that, Alex. Love it. All right, guys. So let's get to our regular scheduled programming. So you guys are here today. You want to learn a little bit about algorithmic trading. You want to learn a little bit about our course, and you want to learn how to do this yourselves, right? Let's make some money together, right? Three of his top arms are Bulgarians. That sounds great. Are you Bulgarian, Alex? Is that why you mentioned that? Okay, cool. So let me talk about our agenda for today. So, so I was reading the chat here, guys. Yes. Alex. That's awesome. I have some good friends that are Bulgarians, by the way, really good guys. One of my friends that's a Bulgarian, he actually has a PhD in artificial intelligence. Recently, I think he moved to, where did he move to I wish I remember. I need to go visit him sometime soon, but we used to work together back in the day. Really good guy. I love this guy a lot, actually. Really smart guy. He does artificial intelligence for computer vision, right? So basically, like, the stuff that fuels self-driving cars, but he's doing it for like automation in like industrial applications, right? So imagine like robots that like build things or like move packages and stuff like that, sorting, all that kind of things. That's what he works on. He's Bulgarian. Yeah, it's cool. Awesome. Great. Nice to meet you, Alex. All right, cool. Okay, so this is our agenda for today. So first thing we want to do is we want to get to know you guys. I feel like we've gotten to know each other a little bit already, but a little bit more formally. Then we're going to go through an introduction. You guys are going to learn a little bit about myself and about our company. Then we're going to talk about algorithmic trading, why it matters, all sorts of stuff. We're going to show you some of our trading returns. And then we're going to go into like the code and the demo. And then we're going to talk about our course, right? If you guys are interested in taking a course with us and actually learning how to do this stuff together with our community, with our instructors, like we've been growing quite a bit as a company. So we have 3 courses now. We're planning on introducing another 3 in the next few months. I think you guys are going to love the stuff that we're coming out with. But in either case, this is our agenda here, and let's get started. All right. So first of all, let's get to know you guys, right? I'll introduce myself in a second. I'll introduce myself as well throughout this, but let's get to know who you guys are and who is on the call, right? So if you guys could type in the chat, right? And if you guys also have questions throughout the entire thing, you could also type in the chat here. But if you guys could type in chat, 3 different things. What's your occupation? Do you know how to code? Do you know how to program computers? Right? We'll say program/code, right? Just in case there's any ambiguity there. And how much investment experience do you have? Right? We have a very good mix of students in our classes. We have people that I feel like a lot of people from finance and more technical type situations, but we also have people from different walks of life. Realtor and GC. I'm not sure what GC is. General contractor, I believe. Okay. No program experience. Trader since 2006. Nice. So a lot of good code and a lot of good trading experience. That's great. Awesome. I think one really good thing about our program is that we have some people that are very good at coding. We have some people that are very good with investing, and a lot of times those people can get along and do things together. I try my best to try to make sure that everyone gets to know each other, but we also have more systematic ways through our community and through our discussion hour every week. So there's a lot of really good ways. Even if you want to learn how to code, but like you're not that great, you can meet a lot of other people that are great at this, right? So for example, here, this is a good example of this. Carolyn, I'm Carolyn, and I work as a data scientist. I do some programming, Python programming. I have 8 years of investing experience, 1 year in options. That is great, Carolyn. I think you will kick ass in this course. I think that's a great experience. You're very well rounded in both. I think that's awesome. Davin, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Let me know which way is correct. Davin. Okay, Davin. So you're an insurance analyst, some programming experience, have some trading experience as well. Great. So you have that rounding. They have that well-rounded experience as well. Machine learning engineer is Lilun. Machine learning engineer, coding is my profession. Invest 15 plus years. Wow. I think you'd be very interested in some of the things that we have as well. That's awesome. That's really cool, Lilun. So we have quite a few people that know how to code today. That's awesome. Let's take that to the next level, right? Let's get you guys to learn from our instructors. We're building a bigger and bigger roster, and we have a lot of also students that have done some great things throughout. I think being part of the community is a big part of what we do, right? It's like when you take courses at any other schools, right? Like think about, you go to Harvard or you go to Yale or whatever. a big part of it is the professors that you learn from, but also another big part of it is the students that you learn with, right? So we try to push both, right? We try to push both where you have not just great professors that you can learn from and code and things like that, but also the community, I think, is really important. So try to push that quite a bit. So we have another one, Sudhir, Army veteran with experience in insurance and investments. Awesome. That's great. Thank you, Sudhir. That's great. Awesome. It's great to know you guys. So we have a lot of good coders today. So I'll try to focus a little bit more on the coding aspect. But also know if you don't have that coding experience, our algo trading course kind of takes you through the basics as well. We have more advanced courses if you want to do our machine learning course or our options trading course. If you guys have that good programming experience, you guys might be able to jump right into those courses as well. So we have the more advanced, we have the more beginner type stuff, depending on your coding level. But in either case, it's still good to be part of the community. And, even if you don't have a ton of coding experience, there's a lot of people that do. And if you don't have a lot of investing experience, there's a lot of people that do. We have, I think, one of our most experienced coders, machine learning engineers, right? People have been doing this for 15, 20, 30 years, right? That sort of thing. Those are some of the most experienced coders. Then we also have a lot of, investment advisors. We have a lot of people that have worked on Wall Street. I can name one person in particular that, worked as a buy side analyst for, 15 years and really, really knows their stuff. The community, I think, is really important as well. So thank you guys. Thank you for sharing that. It's awesome. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit about myself and about our company. Myself, I was one of those, I started coding when I was like maybe 12 years old, right? It's been a very long time. I am nowhere near that age anymore. I wish, right? But it's been, a very, very long time that I've been coding. I don't know, just happened to pick it up. My dad was an electrical engineer. So I had a computer at a very young age and just, really got into it. Love this stuff. I love code. I love software. It's something I've never been able to shake, right? I built a bunch of different software throughout my life. I think my first, call it software company as 15 years old, and built like a hack using assembly code. If you guys know what that is, using assembly code to hack this video game called Diablo 2 back in the day. Made a good amount of money doing that, actually. Made more money than my parents were making at the time for a period of time, not for, to make something like that, competition kicks in or whatever. But it was very cool. And then, obviously went through the rest of life. I went to business school, did my master's in finance, loved finance because of the numbers behind it and obviously how well it applies to software, right? Because, finance is all numbers and so is software. It's a great way to bridge the gap between the two, right? So did that. Afterwards, did a little startup. We sold that startup, made, I think we sold it for like, $2 or $3 million, something like that. Good payout, but there's a decent amount of us. We had investors. So it's a good payout, but not like life-changing. It was enough for me to take some time off, travel the world a little bit and kind of fell in love with New York City. So moved to New York, and worked in the finance profession, right? So worked on Wall Street, several different companies. One of which was Greystone, which did mortgage lending. I think at the time, I'm sure they're a lot bigger now, but at the time they're doing maybe $8 billion a year in mortgages, commercial mortgages, right? Average mortgage being around 10 million, right? And 10 to 15 million is like the average mortgage, right? And I was fortunate enough to actually work with the CEO's son to build out, youngin, building out the new tech department within the company. It was a very interesting experience. We hired a lot of people, spent a lot of time working on product, managing developers, hiring developers, that sort of thing. Obviously doing a lot of development work as well myself, but, changed over time. Great experience. We built out some software for the company that basically, use machine learning to figure out what kind of loans we should give to people, what size of loans. Should we give you a $10 million mortgage or 15, right? Like that sort of thing. What was the value of the property? That sort of thing. Like a lot of data. And then also just making loans a lot easier. So there's a lot of like UX type stuff and that sort of thing. So built out this product. I think to date, I would estimate we probably did about $60 billion worth of mortgages through our product, which is great. I feel awesome about that. So that was one product that we built out, and the first company or one of the companies I was at in New York. After that, I got a really good job offer from a person that, New York City, you network a lot, right? So one person that, tried to give me a job earlier before, and, eventually found something that made a lot of sense. And that's a company called Voyager that I started with. And that is basically, if you guys know Coinbase, if you know what Coinbase is, right? It's a crypto broker, right? You're able to buy and sell Bitcoin and Ethereum and that sort of thing. Voyager is very similar to that, a little smaller, but growing quite fast, right? I think it's worth about $3 billion on the stock market now, which is amazing. So my role in that company, I was one of the early employees. I think I was employee number 4, number 5. And basically we built the whole thing from scratch, right? When I started the company, when I started there, it was, just 4 of us in a WeWork trying to figure out how to make an iPhone app that trades crypto. Spent a lot of time on this, hired a lot of people. We had great people around us. Some of the smartest people I ever worked with actually at this company. If you guys are interested in crypto, highly recommend Voyager. But yeah, so spent a lot of time there. Obviously, the company has done quite well over time. It's, like I said, it's worth $3 billion trading on the market now. Probably going to go public on the NASDAQ soon, I think. Hope, right? Yeah, so was there for a while. Obviously, I did well. And then now we've started on Lumiwealth, and this has been a passion of mine for quite some time, right? We started this company about 2 years ago, maybe a little longer now, right? And really the goal of the company, the goal of Lumiwealth, is using technology, using software to help people's investment returns, right? So, there's several reasons behind this, right? First of all, software is good at like everything pretty much. Like software is eating the world, by the words of Andreessen Horowitz, right? Software is eating the world. It really does. What it does is like it adds more efficiency, makes things easier, makes things smarter, right? Imagine building software that can analyze the world's information in several seconds. There's no way a human could possibly compete against that, right? I mean, we've built bots, and if you get like some good servers behind it, right, you can have bots that will literally read like not everything, but like all the major people on Twitter and Reddit and the news publications and so on and so forth can read all that stuff digitally and come up with a result of like what you should do, right? There's no way a human being could possibly read 10,000 articles in a day, let alone an hour, right? So strong believer in using software to improve investment returns, just because of the sheer amount of information involved in processing this stuff, right? But also it allows us to do things for much lower cost, right? So we're much smarter, and we're doing this for very cheap. Instead of hiring this investment advisor, this hedge fund that's going to charge you, what was it? Investments will usually charge you 2 and 20, right? 2% management fee. That's insane in today's world, right? This is a typical hedge fund, right? 2% management fee per year and 20% above a benchmark, right, of your earnings. Crazy expensive. If you use algorithms, you could do that for much cheaper, right? And you could probably do it much better than a lot of these like high profile investment experts, right? Like you have machine learning that can really do a lot more interesting things and can be a lot smarter about doing these things than a lot of humans can do, right? So anyway, so that's the premise behind Lumiwealth, making things cheaper, better, faster, right? Really it's cheaper and better. Well, actually, I guess it's all three, right? Cheaper, better, and faster using software. And that's kind of the premise behind Lumiwealth. Also, another thing is working on Wall Street, working in these large investment firms, it used to always bother me how people with, literally billionaires, right, would be able to get into these amazing investments, making 20, 30, 40, 50% a year that just people couldn't have access to. That really bothered me a lot. And I'd really like to change that around. Because I think if we give that access to those types of things to regular type people, like, you know, retail investors like you and I that like are not billionaires. I don't know if you're a billionaire, but I'm assuming probably not. Um, you know, giving that type of access to people like us, I think really changes the world, right? Because it also allows us to make more investments like that, and I think there's a lot of value behind it, right? So, anyways, that's my story. That's the story of Lumi Wealth, right? I hope you guys can resonate with that a little bit. So that's me. That's Lumi Wealth. I also want to say we brought this up a few times already. I don't want to go too deep into this again because we already did it. But here's our link to our channel. I posted it earlier in our chat. I'm going to post it one more time. We got like a fancy new URL here with our actual name in it. I think after 500 followers, you're allowed to do this. So we finally got it. I'm actually going to put this in here. I'm going to update this a little bit. This is brand new. There you go. So yeah, make sure you follow us on YouTube. There's lots and lots of good free content on there. We're releasing stuff weekly, right? So make sure you follow us there. Another good way for you to be in tune with our community is our Discord channel. And I'm going to put this into, so I'm going to put this, and I'm also going to put in the link to our presentation, right? So you guys have access to both, right? Just in case you want to see our presentation, right? So that's our Discord and our presentation. So our Discord channel is really cool. If you guys go in here, there's lots and lots of really smart people in here that are willing to answer pretty much any question you have around investing or algorithmic trading. A lot of our past students are in here. So if you want to ask some questions, how'd you like the classes, that sort of thing, feel free to ask those questions here. But yeah, I mean, this is a community where we are very dedicated to obviously improving investment returns, but also really focus on using algorithms and code specifically to do that. I'm a big believer, and like I said this earlier, I really think the future of investing is going to be around software and around algorithms. I think people are great, but I think people are great at building machines, and I don't think we should be spending, like, why are we spending 10 hours a day researching stocks, right? Like, I mean, you could build an algorithm that does that for you much more efficiently, right? Not to say that you're not great at doing that, right? But if you spent your time building an algorithm or building a machine that does that for you instead, every hour that you put into building this machine is going to be, 1,000 hours that this machine can do for you, right? So really big believers in that. If you believe that too, definitely join our community, definitely be part of this. Even if you guys don't buy our courses, that's fine. We love having great people in our community. So join our Discord as well, right? Okay, cool. So that's our Discord, that's our YouTube. Another thing is we have a survey at the end of the webinar. Please fill out that survey. I love hearing your opinions, good or bad, right? If you hate it, let me know. If you love it, let me know. I want to hear both, right? Because it makes us do better as a company. It makes us do better as this course as well, right? It improves everything. So please fill out the survey at the end of the webinar. I read through these things, and it matters, right? I love hearing your opinions, right? And then also, please don't feel like you have to wait until the end of the webinar to ask questions. Ask questions throughout. I love this being a dialogue. It's much more interesting when you guys ask questions and we talk back and forth. That's a much more fun kind of presentation rather than you wait until the end. Also, if you wait until the end, you might forget the question. Just ask as we go. Put it into the chat. There's the chat and there's the Q&A, so you can put it into both, right? Either one, right? Okay, cool. So that's the intro. Let's talk about algorithmic trading. I've already alluded to a lot of this already, but let's talk about it more formally, right? So why algorithmic trading? Why do we care? Why does it matter? All right, so first of all, what is algorithmic trading? We're using software to analyze data and make trades, right? So this is not, we're not here to tell you this is the right way to invest or whatever. I don't want to hear that, right? I don't like, there's a lot of these like courses online or whatever. I actually was talking to someone on Facebook, Instagram earlier today. These like fake gurus, all these people around, everyone trying to tell you, like you're the, this is the way you need to invest and we have the right way to do it and whatever. That's nonsense. Whoever tells you that, I'm sorry, is either, unless they're like multi-billionaires, and fine, by all means, let's listen to them, right? But what we're about is we're about the data, right? Let's get data, let's download the right information, and let's actually figure out, does this make sense or not, right? That's what algorithmic trading is, right? As core, as foundation, right? Let's download data, let's back test it, meaning let's try this strategy over the past 100 years or 20 years or 5 years, whatever it is, whatever time length makes the most sense for you for that strategy. And we're going to use that data to figure out, is this the right thing to do or not, right? So I'm not here to tell you this is the right way to invest. I'm here to help you build ways to analyze and figure out on your own what are the right things to do. That being said, we do have a lot of code, and you're more than welcome to take our strategies that have been proven to do well. More than welcome to do that. But that's not what we're about, right? We're about getting data, analyzing it, and figuring out, is this the right course of action or not, right? And that's what algorithmic trading is at its core, right? It's very data driven, right? And I think a popular misconception of algorithmic trading is that you have to be trading 100 times a day, or it's only day trading, whatever. It's not what we're about, right? Like, we're about using data to make the right decisions, right? And whether that means this algorithm is actually buying and selling for you, right? So some people, and some of our students in the past, you build a good data science, pipeline, and you figure out what are the right things you want to be investing in. It'll just send them texts and they buy it themselves. Some people are more comfortable doing that, right? Some people would rather have the algorithm buy for them. Some people like doing day trading. Some people like buying and selling 100 times in a day, right? There's a whole spectrum of different things that we can do, right? Like, for example, you look at someone like Ray Dalio in Bridgewater. These guys download, terabyte, like huge amounts of data, and analyze everything from like foot traffic to, cars, where they're going, and like satellites and all that sort of stuff, where people park. So like you can do things like, are people parking inside of this Walmart, right? And the more people that park there, you could say that the earnings are going to be higher, right? Like, you do that sort of thing. But you don't have to have the algorithm actually buying and selling for you. It could just inform you and tell you, well, look, recently Walmart has picked up in traffic, as being said by the amount of cars parked in their parking lots from satellite view, right? You could do that sort of thing. Okay. So there's a whole spectrum, right? We could do everything from that, which is more like value type investing, and we can figure out where to actually put our money. Or, some of our students love buying and selling, like, for example, using a machine learning model that will buy and sell, 20 times during the day, or find the right stocks to buy, right? You could do both, right? It doesn't have to be something that is automatically buying and selling for you. It could also just be something that informs your decisions very well, right? So we got a couple of chats here. I'm curious on how taxes are filed when algo trading. So David, so it depends on what you're doing, right? So again, we have different types of algorithms, right? We have algorithms that, are more like value type investing. They'll just tell you, we think these stocks will do the best, right? And then you can buy those. If you hold them for a longer period of time, your taxes are, you'll have regular capital gains taxes. If you're buying and selling, 20 times throughout the day, the same stock, that's going to be taxed as regular income, right? So, me in general, I don't like trading very often, right? Personally, that's my, my bias, right? That being said, I've seen some really cool machine learning algorithms that maybe might change that, right? We've seen some really cool stuff lately. But yeah, so taxes depend on how frequently you're trading and what you're trading, right? That's a little bit more of a complicated issue. We could talk about that if you want. Alex says, that's what I want. Awesome. Thanks, Alex. 20% or 28%, or you can't hold it for a year or more, and it'll be regular income. Yeah, it really depends on how long you hold it for, right? So like, there's different types of algorithms, right? I think that's what I'm trying to get at here, is that There's algorithms where you can hold things for a long period of time and informs what you buy. And then there's algorithms that just you buy and sell throughout the day. So if you're going to have an algorithm that buys and sells 20 times throughout the day, you want to make sure that the algorithm really makes you a lot of money. And the best ones I've seen like that have been machine learning. Some of our machine learning algorithms lately, they're changing my opinion on this. I'll be honest with you. I've always been like this value investor. Let's buy things and let's make sure we diversify well and buy the right companies. And you could do algorithms that do that sort of thing. Research companies, like one of our students, for example, researches biotech companies. And when they come out with new types of drugs that got approved and whatnot, we're the first ones on that. We're immediately in there. And those are very good things to hold on to, right? Those are like longer term and you can make like really good returns from that, right? I've always loved that kind of stuff, but some of the machine learning stuff I've been seeing lately it's been changing my mind on like this sort of thing, because even if you're buying and selling 20 times throughout the day, some of these algorithms are like still making like really good money. So even if you get taxed more, it still is worth it, right? So it depends, right? We have all sorts of different things they could do, right? Yeah, David, thank you. It's interesting. That's a good point. Alex, so minimum 1 year. Oh shit, 10,000%. Yeah, we've had some students that have made some really good returns. One student in particular that I can think of, he's really big into influencers, right? And so yeah, biostocks. Yeah, exactly. Biostocks is great. Like imagine being the first one that comes out with this, right? So like a biotech stock, someone announces or they announce, we passed, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, you could be the first one in there, right? Because you have otherwise you're a human being, you're trying to read, like you have to work, you have to do things, right? Like who's going to be like reading these things nonstop? Like you have like a life, right? Imagine you have an algorithm that's just constantly checking for this, right? Phase 1 approved. And this is for not just one company, but like 1,000 different companies, right? Like that's amazing, right? You could do that sort of thing. You could also do a sort of thing where you're looking at influencers, right? Like for example, Elon Musk tweets about Bitcoin, it shoots through the roof, right? You're the first one on there. You could literally make that trade 1 second after you post that, literally, right? Like that's what an algorithm does. Like try to do that as a human being. It's just not possible, right? Like, I mean, we live in a world where technology is changing everything. And, investing is an obvious next thing, right? Like, I mean, I don't think this is a crazy idea at all, right? I mean, like you've seen, algorithms and technology change the world in such dramatic ways. I mean, I don't want to swear, but my Alexa, like I could talk to my Alexa and tell it to like turn off the lights and it's listening to me now. It could turn off the lights. It can remind me of things. It can search the internet. It's crazy the things that these things can do. Imagine using that kind of technology for investing. Right. So that's algorithmic trading, right, in a nutshell. But let's talk about that's my opinion. You guys can believe it or not, but let's talk about reality, right? And companies are actually doing this sort of thing. Where, for example, Renaissance Technologies, these guys are great. There's actually a fantastic book on them by Jim Simmons' book. I really recommend that people read this book. This is The Man Who Solved the Market. Great book. If you guys want to learn more about this topic, this is a fantastic one. This is more like narrative. It's a fun read, right? It's not like heavy. It's not like a lot of like math or anything like that, right? But this is a book about Jim Simmons, the founder of Renaissance Technologies. These guys, like literally, it's in the title, right? It's like they solved the market, right? These guys made so much money, it's ridiculous. They basically invented machine learning and artificial intelligence, right? They basically invented, but they didn't want to tell anyone, obviously, because they were making too much money, right? But these guys, they got into like algorithmic trading, maybe back in the 60s or the 70s when it was still very, very difficult to do this. These guys have just absolutely killed it. You read the book, these guys talk about like houses that they buy, and they forgot they even owned a house. Like I bought this, imagine buying a giant mansion and forgetting that you even bought it in the first place. That's how much money these guys have, right? It's just crazy. Printing press, let's talk about the numbers, right? Like, for example, Renaissance Technologies, Jim Simmons, the guy that started this, has the book about him. I believe they have about 110 billion in assets. It's the last time I checked. Pretty sure it's higher now. Also, they don't take outside investors anymore, so they try to keep it small, right? Because actually, by the way, you have a big advantage as a small investor over a big firm in doing this stuff, right? Big firms, when you make these trades, you move markets, right? But if you're a small investor and you're doing algorithms, you actually have a huge advantage because you can take advantage of these little tiny arbitrage opportunities that these big firms, they just don't care about, right? To them, it's chump change. What is $100,000, right? To them, it's nothing. But to you, it can matter a lot, right? So these guys, they don't take outside investors anymore because they want to keep it small because it's easier to make money when you're smaller, right? So the last time I checked, they're about 110 billion assets. These guys, their medallion fund, made a 39% annual rate of return. Okay. And now, for those of you that don't think that's a lot of money, think about the fact that the past year, okay, great. I'm sure you have friends that made 100% on their investments, whatever. This is a very easy year. This past year has been very easy. And you look at Renaissance, they made about 100% the past year. Okay. That's not the point. The point is, can you still make 40% when we're in 2008 and the entire market is crashing? Can you still make 40% when, coronavirus comes out and everything is falling apart? Can you consistently do this every single year, year in, year out? And that's what these guys do. I believe it's been about 30 years and they lost money only once in one quarter, and barely, right? They like never lose money, these guys. 40% a year with very low risk, consistently making this, right? The past year has been easy, right? Imagine doing this in 2008. Imagine doing this in 2020 in the middle of the coronavirus, right? That's what these guys have done. They've done consistently very, very good returns. They never lose money, pretty much, right? Out of 30 years, one quarter out of 30 years. Think about that, right? So let's also talk about, for those of you that don't have a strong finance background, what that actually means for your returns, okay? So say you're investing in the stock market. If your stock market, let's say, we'll do this at 10%, this is at 10%, right? And we'll do this is at 39%, right? Just so you guys have it clear. So the stock market, if you're doing 10% a year, that's the average return for the stock market, approximately, depending on the time range you're looking at. Let's say 10%, okay? $1,000 will turn into $17,449 after 30 years. So it's like retirement type money, right? 30 years, approximately retirement, give or take, right? $1,000 turns into 17,000. That's good, right? 17 times your money, almost 18 times your money. The market's been doing a little better lately, maybe a little bit more than that, right? Maybe 20 times your money, 20K, 30K. It's good money, right? It's a good return, right? And this is why everyone says invest your money in the stock market, right? It's a good thing to do. You really should be doing that, right? But now let's take a look at Renaissance. If you took that same $1,000 for 30 years, it wouldn't be 17,000, it wouldn't be 30,000, it wouldn't be 50,000. It'd be $19.5 million. That is one hell of a difference. And this is when we talk about, Albert Einstein, he said compound interest was the most powerful force on earth. This is exactly what he meant. The difference between 10% or 20% or 30% or 40%, it's not 10%, 20%, it's not double, 10 to 40, it's not 4 times. It is an order of magnitude larger. It's compound interest, right? $1,000 turns into almost 20 million versus $1,000 turns into 20,000, right? It's a huge difference, right? This is why we care about every percentage point. When we go through some of our investment strategies, and you'll see some of them, 5% more, 10% more, that makes a really big difference in the long run, So that's what we're all about, consistently doing this year in, year out. I'm not talking about 1 year where you did 100%. I'm talking about every year where you're consistently beating the market. That is much harder to do than having one good year. Because I bet you all these people that had the 100% returns in the past year, they won't tell you about it, but you will see if you watch their portfolio, they'll lose 50% the year after, or maybe not the year after, but the year after that, right? The people that make 100% in a year, they're usually ones that go full tilt, highly leveraged into crazy stocks. and you do well in good times, but when bad times come along, it really hurts, right? What we're about is that consistency, making good returns year in, year out with low risk, right? And having that high investment return. We're aiming for the Renaissance, right? Okay. But yeah, Renaissance is not the only one though, right? They're not the only ones doing this. Okay. We also have a couple others. We're talking about Two Sigma. These guys also kick ass. These guys have done very well over time. 60 billion assets last time I checked, probably a lot more now. Everyone's done really well the past year. So probably quite a bit more. I should update these numbers, right? They've consistently beat the stock market with lower risk, right? Citadel is another one. These guys do a lot of high frequency trading stuff. They've really done a lot of money. They've made a lot of money over time. Bridgewater, this is like Ray Dalio. These guys are big into doing data science, and I know a couple people work there. Really, really cool company, very different kind of culture, but also very data driven. They pull a lot of information from the internet and try to like figure out their macro hedge fund. So try to figure out what is the reason for us to invest in this. Let's get the data behind it, right? And then D.E. Shaw is another one, and a little bit of trivia, and tell me if you guys know this. Try not to Google it, right? It's hard to tell online, right? But D.E. Shaw, who used to work here that was famous? Do you guys know? This is a quantitative hedge fund. So they use algorithms to trade, right? So algorithmic trading, quantitative hedge fund. There's a famous person. I guarantee you know who this person is. They used to work here. And who do you guys think it is? Do you guys want to take guesses? I'm waiting for a little bit. I'm going to give you guys a few seconds to answer this. Guarantee you guys know this. Chat. Warner B. Okay. Not the person I'm thinking of. Maybe. I'm not entirely sure if that person worked there or not. But not the person I'm thinking of. So the person I'm thinking of is someone that you guys know very well. Oh, let's see. One more chat. Jeff, Amazon guy. Yes, exactly. Good work, guys. Yeah, perfect. So Jeff Bezos used to actually be an employee at D.E. Shaw. So before he started Amazon, he used to work at D.E. Shaw and help them build out their software, right, to analyze stocks and figure out, should we invest in this company or this company using algorithms, right, using data science and algorithms. And when he was there, that's where he came up with the idea for Amazon, right? Because he had all this data from all these different companies and which ones to invest in, which ones not. He learned a lot about how to invest in these companies, and that's where he came up with this idea for Amazon. He saw that the internet was growing super quickly. He saw this was a good idea. He saw other companies doing very well in this, and based on that data, that's where he came up with the idea for Amazon, and the rest is history, right? So when you're doing algorithmic trading, when you're using data science to analyze investment returns, you're in very good company. There's some very smart people, some very wealthy people that have been part of this. Some of the richest people on earth. I mean, Jeff Bezos, richest man on earth for a period of time at least. I don't know how he is now. Maybe Elon Musk beat him now. I don't know. But by the way, Elon Musk started PayPal, which is also algorithms, right? Or using technology or software to trade or to be in finance, right? Almost everyone at the top of the Forbes list was in some way, shape, or form involved in using software and finance, right? So I think that's food for thought. And you're definitely in very good company in a lot of these through these a lot of these different companies, right? Cool. All right. So that's always a fun topic. I love this, right? But yeah, so those guys did well. They're not the only ones. We've done very well for ourselves. This is one of our accounts. I could show you more, right? But let's take a look at Alpaca. Let's sign here. Last time I did this, I showed my password, so I'm trying to avoid doing that. Here's one of our accounts, right? We manage a bunch of different accounts. This is our live trading. Today it's a little down, but versus stock market, we've done significantly better. There's 10K put into this about 3 months ago. We've beat the stock market almost double what the stock market has done over the past 3 months, right? So you look at the S&P 500 past 3 months, it's down. We're actually still up $400 since then. So not only are we making better investment returns in the long run, but we're also beating them when we're in down days as well. Here's another one of our accounts. You can see this is our Fidelity account. You can see in this year, S&P 500, this is last year, basically. Last year, S&P 500 is 17%. We did 53% in that year. I could show you a bunch of other accounts. Try not to get too deep into this and show off passwords and stuff like that. But we have a few different accounts. We manage money for a few different people. We've done quite well, right? Between our alpaca accounts and now lately our option trading accounts and all that. Algorithms work, you know. Algorithms are a very good way to invest. I have a legal disclaimer here, so I'm not trying to go way off on a tangent here, but they work for us very well, right? And it's a lot less effort, a lot easier to do, and they give us good returns. And you could back test, you could find out ahead of time, this is a good idea. Really, this is a much smarter way to be investing rather than, I heard from a friend that this stock is good or whatever. Even if you're good at, let's say you're good at valuations, right? Let's say you're good at valuing a company well, you can still put that into code and have that, instead of you looking at one company at a time, you could look at 10,000 companies at a time, right? Really strong believers in using software for all this stuff. Okay, cool. So that's some of our investment returns and some of that stuff. You could also take a look at our code, so we're not BSing, right? This is our open source library. I am working on, so Alexa just turning on the lights. It started raining outside, instantly the lights turn on. I don't know if that's my TV turned on. Okay. All right, why not? We're very digital here. Right? All right, so this is our open source library for Lumibot, right? We built this open source library because we believe in contributing to the community behind this. And also we share this in our courses and how to use this and whatnot. So we've built basically here a piece of code, and you guys can check this out. For those of you that know how to code, I'll even post this for you guys. We're working on updating our documentation. We want to have like a really stellar documentation soon. That's like my next big thing. This bot, this is basically one of the top back testing and trading libraries in the world right now. We can actually back test option strategies and future strategies and all that kind of stuff, which even the top libraries can't do right now. We're working on improving our documentation even further. We want to make like some amazing stuff. But if you guys want to know if we're legit and if we know what we're talking about, you can go through our code. Feel free to do that. And here we have several different examples of how to get this up and running. We obviously spend a lot of time in our courses doing this sort of stuff. So if you want to learn how to use this, we talk about it in our courses and we'll show you how to do this. But basically it's really, really easy to go from, I have an idea and I want to turn that into a bot, right? Put into a bot, we make it very easy to do that. We have lots of example code they can go through, put into a bot, and then back test it and see how would it have done over the past year or 2 years or 10 years, and take that and then start trading with it, paper trading. We're linked with a lot of brokers that have paper trading, test it for a few weeks, and then actually launch it live, right? A lot of our students are making some good money doing this sort of thing, basically checking, is this a good idea first? And so you make sure that you have very good risk management processes in place, and that you're doing things in the proper way and you're making good money throughout that, right? And that's what this library is all about. You guys can check it out. Like I said, I think I posted in the chat as well. Yeah, so it's a GitHub in there. Feel free to check it out. If you guys, and by the way, for our students, if you guys are part of our courses, we love hearing from people to improve this thing as well. There's been many times where our students have said, we want this new feature. We've built it within like 2 days. One of our past students asked for better charting. We built that out in literally like 4 hours. Thanks, David. It's awesome. Love it. So yeah, so this is our code. So if you guys want to check it out, because you guys are more into the coding, please check it out and see what you think. Again, we're working on like a really top-notch documentation that's going to be coming out very soon. We want to make this like the easiest thing to get started with, right? That's where we're coming from, right? And then our course is basically to reinforce that and give you like lots of example code and show you how to use all this sort of thing and get you to the next level, right? Okay, cool. So that's our code. Next thing, and this is probably what you guys really want to see, all right? You know, me talking about stuff I'm very passionate about. As you can tell, I'm not passionate about this at all, right? I love this stuff. This is, you know, I used to spend day in, day out watching Bloomberg investing, and believe me, we've done quite well, and you've seen some of the results. I could show you some results over a longer period of time. I've been managing money for quite some time now, and we've done well, right? But now it's all about how do we scale that up? How do we make it cheaper and easier to build bigger and bigger things, right? And that's what the algorithms come in, right? So yeah, so probably what you guys really want to see is the demo. So I'm going to play this demo for you. This is something that was recorded a little while ago, all right, a couple of weeks ago, just because we can't do it right now. It's, you know, it's past trading hours. Maybe one day we'll do this with like futures or something, right? We can still trade, or crypto, right? 24-hour type stuff. I can show you stuff 24 hours. But people don't want to see this obviously during work days because, you know, you're working, right? But you know, here's some trading with stocks that was recorded a couple weeks ago. And you guys can see a couple of our different strategies and how they work. All right. So let me play this for you guys, and you guys can see basically these things in action, these bots in action. All right. Okay. So let me play this. This is always fun to watch. I love watching this stuff. Okay. Let's play this. All right. So this is, I'm going to show you a couple different trading strategies that we show you, first of all, in the courses, and that you can employ yourself. It's pretty easy for you to get these up and running. I've had people that have never coded a day in their lives and have these strategies running within just a few weeks. Yeah, so, you know, even if you don't know how to code, don't feel like you have to shy away from this, whatever. I'm going to be showing you a bunch of code here, but really it's not that difficult to learn. We've been able to teach a lot of people that have never coded before in their lives, right? Okay, so here, let's show you a demo of some of our different trading strategies. Okay. So there's a couple I want to show you today. We have some new ones, like I was saying. Okay. So I want to show you, first of all, our fast trading strategy, just because a lot of people, whenever they think algo trading, they want to be able to trade really quickly, get in and out of things very fast, and analyze a lot of things. So what I'm doing here is I'm running this fast trading strategy. If you see here, we go into our broker. It was nothing, and now it bought a whole bunch of stuff automatically by itself. Okay. And let me describe to you essentially what this strategy is doing. Okay. Here is the code. The code is fairly straightforward. It's not that long, right? So it looks like, you know, 160 lines of code, but a lot of it is boilerplate stuff, and a lot of it is like, you know, kind of just tracking things and whatnot. It's very easy for you guys to get something like this up and running. Essentially what it does is it looks at these symbols here, right? SPY, gold, TLT, Microsoft, Tesla, etc. Right? We're looking at all those symbols and basically saying which one has done the best over the past 1 minute, right? And whichever one did the best, you know, has had a momentum, the best momentum, it keeps the top four, okay? And it'll keep swapping them out. So if we watch this here, we see the top four we have right now is TLT, XPXS, XPXL, and MCHI. Those are best over 1 minute. You see that just swapped. We just bought some gold. So it sold TLT and it bought gold. Okay. And if we leave this running, you'll see basically you'll do this all day long, right? You don't have to be in front of your computer. You could have this thing running in the cloud. You could have this thing running off your computer. And it will just keep trading for you all day long, right? Now, this is a strategy that, you know, follows momentum, but you could just as easily do a lot of other things with this, right? You could use technical analysis for this, right? I know a lot of people like looking at charts and support resistance, that sort of thing. You could use that, right? You could use things like RSI or pivot points or VWAP, right? You could use all those types of things to influence which stocks you want to own and have like a, you know, we have our top 10 stocks, and based on our criteria, we keep the top four, and you can trade throughout the day doing that sort of thing. So this is very flexible. There's a lot of different things that you can do with this. And this is just a demo to kind of show you, you know, this fast trading, how it moves in and out. If we give it another minute, it should actually flip things around. We'll give it, yeah, so it executes once every minute. We give it a little bit more time.
It'll swap things out. Oh, there you go. Okay, I just did that. So it sold the gold. Remember, you guys saw the gold. It sold that, and it sold our MCHI. So we sold 2 of those things, and then bought SPY and it bought Microsoft, right? And that's because those have been the ones that are doing the best over the past minute, and just kind of hold on to them, right? It's just a simple momentum strategy. But like I said, there's a lot of other things that you could convert this into. Use any kind of technical analysis you want, or any kind of criteria that you want to do this sort of trading, right? This is something that'll be like throughout the day, intraday, quickly getting in and out of things, right? All right, okay, so that's our fast trading strategy. Let's show you our technical analysis strategy, right? Because this one is, we could basically take what we did in the last one, okay? And we can do the same thing, or we could use essentially, what we did in the last one. We could apply this sort of stuff for technical analysis type of stuff, right? So what this one does is it's sorry, there's a question here on chat. I want to do trading, day trading will help me with that. Yes, absolutely, will help you with day trading. Yeah. So the last strategy that I just showed you, the fast trading, is very well suited for day trading, right? So what you would do is you would take something like that and combine it with maybe a technical, it depends on how you trade, right? If you trade, support resistance, if you trade using VWAP, if you trade using some sort of technical analysis, RSIs or Bollinger Bands or whatever, we could implement all that kind of stuff, right? So here is a technical analysis strategy. This one trades a little slower, but you can mix the two together, right? You can make it so that the last one that we had takes the top 4 stocks, right? This one, what it does is it trades based off of RSI, right? So it looks at the RSI of SPY, right? And if RSI falls below 33, okay, so it's looking at the RSI for SPY, and it has 2 stocks that it trades, okay? It has SPY and TLT, okay? It has the 2 of them, okay? And they're normally 60-40, which is kind of like what investment advisors recommend, 60% stocks, 40% bonds, right? But when the RSI gets too high on SPY, which means kind of like it's overbought, right, is what we call it with RSI terms. When it's overbought, then we say, okay, let's get out of SPY and only buy TLT. So we sell our SPY, go 100% to TLT. And then the opposite situation, when SPY falls too much and the RSI is low, then we will sell all of our TLT and only buy SPY, right? So it's changing weightings in our stocks based off of this criteria of a technical analysis, right? Technical indicator, okay? So if we see it trading right now, you'll see it bought 60-40 SPY, so 60% of money of 50,000 is put into SPY automatically, right? And TLT, the other 20,000, right? The other 40%. Okay? If this is a time when SPY was too high, it would automatically sell SPY and get into TLT. Or if the opposite happened, if SPY fell a lot, it will do the flip as well. You could do this much faster. You could do this with many stocks throughout the day. And you can use a lot of other types of technical analysis as well. So we use this library, right? You could use Bollinger Bands, right? You could use, some of these things, I don't even know what they are. Average true range, you could use that. Bollinger Bands, you could use moving averages, crossing, use MACD, all sorts of different things that you could use to trade with. RSI, stochastic RSI, right? Lots and lots of different things you could use to trade. And you can trade throughout the day, buying and selling things automatically based on your criteria, right? You don't have to be at your computer. You don't have to be paying attention to it. You can set up stop losses automatically, all that kind of stuff you can get through the bot, right? Okay, so that's our technical analysis strategy, right? Okay, I'm going to show you some cool new ones that we just made, right? So this is one that I think will probably resonate with a lot of you guys. This is a really fun one that we actually just created, and I'm actually in the process of testing exactly how well it does, but it is definitely a very interesting strategy. This is not the right, okay, we're gonna get out of this. So this is a strategy that we call Reddit sentiment, okay? You get access to this strategy. If you join our classes, you get access to this strategy within our classes, right? We'll give this to you. You can use this, you can modify this. It's part of our library of different algorithms, right? Okay, so let me run this one here, okay? And let me explain to you kind of what it's doing, all right? So this strategy, what it does is it goes to, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Wall Street Bets. I feel like this has blown up in popularity recently. And of course, you guys, if you guys follow this sort of thing or know about this sort of thing, it's been influencing a lot of stocks lately, right? The increases in GameStop was because of this channel on Reddit. Basically, I think it's now, when I last checked, there's 1 million, but someone told me there's 4 million people on here. Everyone's discussing stocks, talking about, what to buy, what to sell, that sort of thing. And it actually has quite a bit of predictive power where, GameStop shot up a lot because of what happened on Wall Street Bets. There's some people that got going and basically went through the roof, right? GameStop, AMC was another one that's like a big, we call it meme stock or Wall Street Bet stock. And there's a few other ones that are happening more recently, like Wish, and a few other ones that maybe you guys have missed out on. But if you had this bot that we've built out here, you won't have to, right? So what it does is it automatically downloads the hot topics within Wall Street Bets, right? Downloads, you could specify exactly how much you want to download, right? And then it looks over all of those topics, reads all the comments, and uses some artificial intelligence, uses a bit of machine learning type stuff to figure out which stocks have the best sentiment, okay? And sentiment being whether people are saying they like them or not, right? I hate Wish, or I love Wish, or I think Wish is going to the moon, right? It's going to read all those comments and tell you which stocks are, first of all, talked about the most and which ones have the best sentiment. So we see here, Apple, for example, does not have a very good sentiment. It's widely talked about. People don't seem to like it on Wall Street Bets right now. Ones that they do like is this one here, 0.43 Wish. This one's been a hot topic for a while. If you look at the stock charts, by the way, it's gone up a lot. It's doubled over the past week or two, right? So that sentiment is high up there. We have GOEV. I don't even know what that is. This is talking about, people are talking about this on Wall Street Bets. But in either case, what it did is automatically read all that kind of stuff and then bought the top ones for you, right? So let's take a look here. Boom. These are all the top stocks on Wall Street Bets, right? It will automatically hold on to these and read actually these comments throughout the day and throughout the weeks. You can have this running in a server, running on your computer. It will automatically buy, in this case, the top 4 stocks that are talked about on Wall Street Bets. Not only the ones that are the most popular, but also the ones that people have the best sentiment for, that people say they really like. Look at that. We just bought them and all of a sudden our money is already starting to go up. It's kind of fun to watch. Yeah, so this is a very interesting strategy. We're going to be actually testing this over the next little bit, and I'm thinking about putting some of our own funds money into this as well. All right, so look at that. We literally just bought it, and look at what happened to our stock price. Like it's literally within a minute, it's shooting up like crazy, right? And what this strategy will do is it'll just keep reading this all day long, right? And see, has it changed, right? If sentiments have changed, it will get rid of it, right? Or if sentiments have gone up for one, it will buy it, right? So automatically be doing this stuff all day long. All right, definitely really cool. It's amazing how fast it's going up. So we have a question here. I have no coding experience. Will this program sync it to my trading platform and auto execute the trades? It depends what trading platform you use, right? So if you have no coding experience, I wouldn't be too worried about it. We have a lot of people in our classes with no coding experience, and they've all been able to get bots up and running. So I wouldn't be too surprised about that. I wouldn't be too worried about that, right? Whether it links with your trading platform, it depends on what trading platform you're using, right? We have 2 brokers that we work with right off the bat. Yeah, so we use Alpaca, we use Interactive Brokers, and we're going to be adding in TradeStation soon. That's the next one that we're adding in. So if you use TradeStation, we'll probably have this built in within the next like 2 months, right? So we are definitely going to be adding that in soon, right? For Thinkorswim, they don't have API access. They have API access to something called TD Ameritrade. They don't give you access to the Thinkorswim platform. It's kind of a little weird there. So we recommend actually, if you want to do like algo trading, TD Ameritrade is really not the best, right? They don't allow you to do paper trading, that sort of thing. And to be honest, it's really easy to switch brokers, right? Like to open up an account with Alpaca, like honestly, I think you can do this within 5 minutes, right? It's really easy to do that. So we work with them. We work with the Interactive Brokers. We're going to be adding in TradeStation very soon, and then we're going to keep adding in more and more as we go. So you definitely have a lot of options there. This is amazing. Look at this. We literally just bought this and already making like a bunch of money. The stock chart just shooting straight up. Yeah, changing brokers. Yeah, I agree with you, right? Changing brokers is not very difficult. It's really easy to do that. I really like TradeStation. They have great APIs, so we're going to be working with them soon. They also have crypto. They have futures. They have a lot of other stuff. So TradeStation's a really good one that we're going to be adding in. It's amazing, guys. I got to start running my own money in this strategy. We literally just built this like 2 days ago, so we're still testing it out. But it's amazing. Look at this. Literally, in the course of this conversation, we've already made what, like $300 or something like that. It's just in the course of our talking right now. Cool strategy, right? So that's our Reddit trading strategy. If you have no coding experience, really not that hard for you guys to get this up and running. It's part of our code library, so you can actually start off with this. You can modify it however you want. You don't have to be an expert programmer to do this stuff, guys. You don't have to be some like whiz kid, because we give you a lot of these templates that you can start off with. All right. Okay, cool. So that's a Reddit sentiment. I'm going to show you one more. That one actually is really cool. I gotta run that one. I'm going to do that after this. I'm going to run in the cloud and have it go for a few days, test it out for a couple of days, because that's pretty impressive how well it did that quickly. Like I said, we just built this one like 2 days ago. Another one I want to show you guys, and this is one that we actually just put a bunch of our money into. I really like this strategy, and I'll tell you why, right? I'll tell you why through a back test, okay? So we teach you not only how to build the bots, we also teach you how to do the research behind it, as to, you know, how are you going to be picking a strategy? Is this a good strategy for you to do or not, right? How do you find these strategies? And this is one way they can figure out whether a strategy is good for you or not, okay? What I'm doing right now is I'm running a back test, okay? So there's a back test for a strategy that we call diversified leverage, okay? And basically what we're doing is we're going from 2012, right? We're doing this because some of these ticker symbols didn't exist until 2012. From 2012 until 2021, so 9 years, okay? And we're seeing how would our strategy have done over the past 9 years? What kind of results would we have gotten, all right? So the strategy in particular, the one that we're doing, is called this diversified leverage strategy, okay? And basically what it is this is like modern portfolio theory, right? If you talk to someone like a Ray Dalio, or you talk to like some of the most prominent investors in the world, they'll tell you diversify well. And the reason why you diversify well is because you want to make sure that you reduce your risk. If you reduce your risk, you can take on more, you can actually take on more risk and make more money, right? Essentially. So what this is we have a bunch of different ticker symbols we're in here. We're in the leveraged NASDAQ, so TQQQ, right? So it's the triple NASDAQ, right? So 3x the returns of the NASDAQ. If you look at the stock chart on this thing, it's wild. It's like up 1,600% in 2 years or something like that. It's crazy, right? But of course, also has its risks. There's a downside as well, right? So we want to protect against that. So we have 20% of our money into that. 10% of our money into UPRO, which is the leveraged S&P 500, 3x leveraged. Then we have 10% of our money into UDOW, which is a leveraged Dow Jones. Then we have 10% of our money in emerging markets, right? Leveraged emerging markets, right? 35% of our money in leveraged treasury bonds. So now we diversify, right? So we have in total 50% of our money in stocks, right? In leveraged stocks, right? And diversified around the world a little bit, right? And then we have the rest of our money in something to counterbalance that, right? To reduce our risks, to give us some good hedging, and to improve our returns without taking on too much risk, right? So we do that by having leveraged treasury bonds. So usually when stocks fall, treasuries go up and vice versa. So they're a really good hedge to have in a portfolio. We also have Barclays VIX, right? This is an interesting one. Basically, you lose money regularly, but when things fall apart, if like the stock market crashes, it'll go like up 5x. You'll make 500% of your money in like a day, right? And that's a really good hedge, because if things fall, you want to be able to protect yourself, right? And we also have 5% of our money in gold. So this is one that actually I've put some of our money into, right? Not all, like some good chunk of our money into this strategy. And I'll tell you why, right? When we look at the back test, what we can see here is, look at this. So this is this strategy, okay, over that same time period, right? Over this 2012 to 2021, that 9 years there. So January 1st, 2012 to January 1st, 2021, right? So 9 years, yeah. Over that time period, the S&P 500 was up 17.5%, which is nice, right? If you're in this strategy, you would have made 28.9%. You would have almost doubled the stock market's returns, okay? Which is amazing, right? Like obviously that's, if you guys do the math behind this, this is the difference between when you retire, you could retire with $1 million versus 10 million, right? That's like the difference, right? Like it's a very, very large difference when you have double the stock market's returns. Huge, huge payouts. This could be worth $9 million to you in the future. I mean, this kind of differential, right? But okay, so it's great to have a higher returns. That's awesome, right? But we're not just talking about higher returns here. We're talking about higher returns while taking on the same amount or less risk. Okay, so over that same time period, so we doubled the stock market's returns, but we also had only a little bit of increase in our volatility. It's not too much more volatile, meaning this up and down thing. And our max drawdown is almost exactly the same, right? So meaning from the peak to the bottom, right? This is in last year, right? March, 2020, stock market fell 30%. From the very top to the very bottom, it fell 33%, okay? If you were invested in this strategy, you would have also only lost about 33% at the same time period. So we have the same risk as the stock market, but we're making double the returns. That to me sounds incredibly impressive, right? Which is why we're putting some of our money into this, right? We diversify among different strategies. We don't put everything into one, but this was one when we're looking at 30% a year returns, sounds very appealing to me, right? So this one went ahead. When we go in here, you could see it automatically bought all these things for us, right? All the different ones. This would be a pain, by the way, to do on your own. And the key is that it doesn't just buy these, it rebalances. And that's the key here, right? Because you'll have days like, for example, TQQQ will shoot up, in a week's time, will shoot up 100% or something like that. When it shoots up 100%, you want to rebalance your portfolio and put money somewhere else. And that's how you actually get the safety along with the very good gains, right? It's intelligent portfolio construction, and that's how you end up making all the money. That's why having like a robot that'll automatically look at the stuff and rebalance for you is really important, because that's how you're actually going to end up with these returns. You can't just go and buy them and that's it, right? You actually have to be rebalancing and trading them on a regular basis, right? So I very much like this strategy as well. We have our own money, like I said, in this as well, and so far been doing, we've been making good money. So I'm happy with it so far. All right, cool. All right, so that's a couple of our strategies. We showed you everything from our day trading, to trading off of Reddit, to, building intelligent portfolios. I have a few more that I can show you guys. We have a whole library, like I said, there's tons of different things. We have things where we trade off of like macroeconomic things where we use like the debt, where the Fed Reserve, that they take on debt, we trade off of that. We're building out a bunch of options trading strategies as well. Which we're going to have a separate webinar to kind of explain a bunch of that stuff where, you can trade volatility and all that sort of thing. We have lots and lots of different strategies, and we just keep growing more and more of them. So if you guys join our courses, not only are we going to teach you how to do this stuff, we're going to give you access to that big library. So you'll be able to either use it right out of the box, or, modify it to do whatever you want it to do. You'll have access to that sort of stuff. All right. Cool. So that's the demo.
Hey guys, so what'd you think about that? So answering a bunch of your questions throughout.
Cool. Okay.
Stop this. Great. Awesome. Thank you. So I want to answer a couple of your questions. Awesome. Great. Thanks, Juan. Thanks, William. So I want to answer a couple of your questions. So there's a lot of questions around two things you guys have been asking throughout in the chat. One of them has a lot to do with brokers, right? So I want to tell you guys, we use two brokers. We use Alpaca and Interactive Brokers, and there's a very good thought that went into this. Both of them allow for paper trading, and Interactive Brokers in particular. So Alpaca is really easy to get up and running, which is why we teach in the courses. Really, really simple. It's like Robinhood, but for APIs, it's zero commissions, that sort of thing. And Interactive Brokers is probably the best broker in the world. I mean, you can ask different people, but it's pretty widely considered the best broker in the world. They have the most amount of assets. They're international. You could trade like Indian stocks through them. You could trade like anything, right? All around the world. And they have really, really good fees, not just in terms of trades, but in terms of margins and things like that. I remember looking the other day, it was like their margin rates were like 2% versus like TD Ameritrade, which had like 8%. Huge difference, right? So that's why we use those two brokers. But also keep in mind that the broker that you use personally, right? Let's say you use TD Ameritrade. This is brought up, right? TD Ameritrade. When you guys use something like that, you probably want it for the charting, and you probably want it for like analyzing your investments, and you can still use that, right? Like still use TD Ameritrade, by all means, do that, right? But when you run an algorithm, it needs to be in a separate account. You don't want to run an algorithm in the same account as the rest of your trades, right? Because when you do that, they're going to conflict, right? They're going to get confused, right? You're going to be trading something, the algorithm's going to be like, you're not supposed to own that. It's going to sell it. It's like, you shouldn't be doing that, right? They need to be in separate accounts, right? So that's why we've linked up with these really good brokers, Alpaca and Interactive Brokers. These guys are top of the class. You guys use them. You run your bots in that. And if you want to use TD Ameritrade, by all means, use that. Do your analysis. Look into that. Go for it. That's your personal kind of account, whatever, right? But the bots need to be somewhere else, right? And I think that's an important distinction there, right? You don't want to have the same account for your bots and for your personal trading, right? So that's one thing that I want to address. It's hard to type that out, right? And the other thing is the cloud trading versus the on your own computer. So sorry, hold on, one question here. Does Interactive Brokers have business accounts? Oh, yes, they do. Interactive Brokers, like I said, these guys, like name a hedge fund, name an investment fund, they're all using Interactive Brokers. They're using either Bloomberg or Interactive Brokers. They're like the top of the top, right? They have the best in terms of all the assets they can get to, the best in terms of margin fees, the best in terms of like everything across the board. When you trade with Robinhood, it seems like you're making like zero fee trades. It seems really good. But when you actually look into it, the trades that they execute are not very good. You don't get the best rates on your stocks. So Interactive Brokers actually gets you the best execution and gives you really good rates, right? Very good fees, right? Anyway, so point is, Interactive Brokers, yes, they have business accounts. They have much more than that as well. They have, you want to trade CFDs, you want to trade futures, you want to trade options, you want to trade forex, you want to trade crypto. You want to one of our clients, for example, he's an investment advisor, and he manages accounts for like 50 different people, right? You can do that through Interactive Brokers as well. Like link up your account to automatically manage everyone else's accounts. Like Interactive Brokers is just like the cream of the crop, right? Which is why we use them, right? So that's to address the brokers there, right? And I think it's important to know that. Yeah, William, is honestly they're really great. For ask any investment advisor, anyone who like runs investment funds and things like that, like everyone uses them. That's why we got with them. That's why we chose them, right? But yeah, so is that for brokers? And the other question that you guys talked about a lot was cloud-based stuff. If you guys want to run the stuff, we run our stuff in the cloud. So, for me, I don't want to run an algorithm off my own computer, because what if the power goes out? What if my internet's not working well? I have a laptop. What if I want to move it? What if I want to close it? Right? Like there's a bunch of different things. So running it in cloud is really the best way of doing this. So if the question is my computer fast enough? It doesn't matter, because if you run this in the cloud, you can have as much or as little computing power as you need, right? For most of our algorithms, it's very simple. I mean, I've had people run algorithms on like really old computers and it's still been fine. The difference is when you want to run like machine learning algorithms or something much more complex like that needs processing power. And you can do that in the cloud. You don't need to have a sophisticated computer. Just do it in the cloud. And honestly, you'll be much better off doing it that way. Pretty much all the people that I know, except for one student that I know that just happens to have like a supercomputer in his house, right? He does it that way. He does it in his house. But like running in the cloud makes the most sense, right? And we'll show you how to do that. And that's very easy to do. Like, honestly, I walked someone through that 30 minutes, got it up and running. Very easy to get. It's just Docker. It's really simple to get up and running, right? So if you could run an algorithm on your computer, you could run the cloud, 30 minutes, get it up and running. It's up there, right? So I want to address those two things. Let me know if you guys want me to address anything else that you guys talked about. There's a couple other questions that you asked, but I think those are kind of the two main topics. Just quickly going through here. Interactive brokers, cloud. Great. Okay. Yeah, and then SIPC, yeah, the Alpaca's register with them. So David, so basic question is Anaconda include Python, or do we need to install Python separately? We address this in the class. So I've taught this class many times over, and you know, if you're brand new to coding, like there's you know, there's many ways they can install this stuff. I've learned over time, because I've taught this class many times over, is if you're on a Mac, you should install Anaconda. That's probably the easiest way to go. If you're on a Windows, I'd recommend you go to the Microsoft Store and just install Python. How it is that you search for Python in the Microsoft Store, and it's like Python 3.8 or 3.9 will have in there. So install it that way. That's the easiest way to get started. I've noticed that tends to be the best setup on both systems. All right. So we've done Anaconda on Windows. Some weird stuff happens, right? And you don't really need all that extra stuff. But on a Mac, it makes the most sense. On a Mac, Anaconda makes the most sense. But if you're part of our class, we can walk you through all that kind of stuff. I've done this many times. Okay, cool. Thanks, David. I see companies selling access to trade like 100K for 99 a month. What would that consider? Sorry, William, I'm not sure what you mean by that. Companies selling access to trade like 100K for $99 a month. What would that consider? I'm not sure what you mean by that. I've seen a lot of different things like this, where you build an algorithm and you know they give you money to invest. I don't know if that's what you mean, or maybe you pay money for some investment advice. Actually, funny thing is, there's a lot of these like websites out there where you can like pay money to get like investment advice. Those work really well with algorithms, right? Because you know, for example, like Jonah Lupton is one of them. There's a couple of like influencers like this that you have to pay money. It's like $10 a month. You pay for it. You can build an algorithm that like reads those emails and trades off it like within seconds. And like they tend to do very well, because a lot of people, even if, I mean, maybe they're right, maybe they're not, but even if they're not right, a lot of people are listening and trading off of it. So if you're the first one in there, you still make a lot of money, right? So there's really cool things that you can do like that with algorithms. So William, if you want to expand on that, I'm not sure if I answered that question correctly, but if you want to expand on it, then I can go into it deeper, right? So Alex asks, do you make sure your cloud server is close to the broker you're using for faster transactions, or doesn't matter? And Alex, I honestly don't think it matters. Like, honestly, I've some people that come up and like, I want to place trades within milliseconds. Like, I mean, come on, unless you're doing like high frequency trading, and like there's certain types of algorithms that do work with that, like the Citadel type thing. You're not going to beat them unless you have like a couple $1,000,000 to co-locate a server next to NYSE. Let's be real here. You know, like the truth is, putting in the cloud already is really fast. It has much better internet access than you could possibly have at home. Like these guys have, you know, I want to say T3, but it's probably like T100 or whatever the heck, crazy lines, right? Way faster. I don't know if you ever put things on a cloud and try to download things. It is ridiculously fast. You know, we're talking about like 1,000 bits per megabits per second kind of thing. Putting in the cloud already is going to be really fast. Co-locating next to a you know, stock exchange like NYSE or whatever, TSX, NYSE, CBOE, whatever, doing that sort of thing is extremely expensive. And some of these funds will pay literally millions of dollars to do that. Unless you are in a hedge fund and you want to invest in that, then that's cool. And we could talk about that. But any like individual, normal retail trader like you and I that, you know, maybe have 10, 20, 100, $1 million to invest, even $10 million to invest, that's just unreasonable, right? It's going to cost you so much money to do that. If you're a hedge fund that has $100 million that you're investing, that's a different story, right? We could have that discussion if you want, right? But for most people, that putting in a cloud is going to be more than fast enough. You know, really, it's about the intelligence, right? Laloon for ML Windows is not good. I'm not super familiar with Windows, to be quite honest with you. A lot of our students have Windows. I run my stuff off of Mac. To be honest with you, for ML, I think it's all about cloud. You know, I've run, I have a fast computer. Like mine is like one of the top MacBooks that you possibly get. My wife bought this for me for Christmas. It was amazing. So it's really, really fast. But I mean, even still, machine learning can take like 5 hours to run. If you do this in a cloud, it takes like 5 minutes, not 5 hours, right? So cloud is really the way to go with ML. And I'm sure you know that, Lulu, and you seem like you know your stuff. David, thanks very much. Awesome. Thank you. Laloon. I mean, if you are serious with machine learning, Linux is the best OS. Yeah, I tend to agree with you, actually. Linux is fantastic. Mac OS is also based on Unix, so it's similar. But yeah, Linux is great. And I'd even take that further and say cloud is the way to go. If you see the speed of like Google Cloud and TPUs versus your own, even if you have a really fast computer, a TPU, which is a tensor processing unit, is what it stands for. Those things are insanely fast. Like we're talking about, if you're running a regular computer, you do machine learning, it'll take you 3 days to run. You do it on a TPU, it'll take you 1 minute. It's like, that's the difference. It's like, it's crazy. So I definitely recommend cloud for that sort of stuff. So Alex says using VPN, got it, thanks. Yeah, so VPNs can be great for different things. Cool. What is the cost of running AlgoBots in cloud? Mine, the AlgoBot that I run is literally free because I run on a microservice and they give it to you for free. Cost me literally nothing, right? Zero. But it depends on what you're doing. Like if you want to run some crazy machine learning bot, then that can cost some money. It depends, right? There's a range of things. And I think it depends on how much money you're putting in and what you're trying to do. For some of our bots, like, our machine learning bots can cost, a couple $100 a month if you want to do that, right? If you have enough money to put in and it makes sense, then you do that. But like, for example, a lot of our bots are just, they don't take that much processing power. It's just downloading some data, whatever. Micro instances are free, $0. Liluna asks, so does this course teach the best way to extract historical data from company fundamentals? Easy way to get price, but seems hard to get the fundamental data. We go through fundamental data actually quite a bit. There's a few different sources for that. Everything from Quandl, Yahoo Finance. There's a bunch of different sources that you can get that from. And yes, we do cover that. We don't go super deep into fundamentals, but if you want, it's a live class. More than happy to go through all that and more than happy to spend some time with you on that. Because we do have a lot of code behind it. I love fundamental data. I love doing that sort of thing. So we do have a lot of code behind this, and there's a lot of ways to get that sort of thing. Depending on what you want to get, you may or may not have to pay for it. Details are important, right? But yeah, we go through a little bit, but if you want to have the details, yeah, again, we go through it in the class. Yeah. Cool. Hopefully I answers the question well. Yeah, no problem. Thank you. Thanks for the question. I love this. It's very interactive. Thank you guys. This is fantastic. I love answering all these questions. Okay, cool. All right, so that's the demo. You guys have been asking lots of questions. Love this. It's fantastic. Let's talk about the course itself, right? So this is our course, the algo trading course. We have more than this now. So I want to talk about this, but also some of the other courses. I'm going to post this link in the chat so you guys can follow along with me. But it is pretty easy to find this. If you go to lumiwealth.com under courses, algo trading, you'll notice that we also have 2 other courses here. We're adding 2 more very soon. We're adding a crypto course on trading crypto, and we're also going to be adding a course on using Solidity, teaching you basically how to create your own NFTs and how to create your own crypto assets and smart contracts. We're going to be adding those courses in soon. But right now we have 3 different courses. We have our algorithmic trading course, and this is the one you're watching right now. And this is our main course or flagship course. A lot of people start here and go to the other ones, which are more advanced in different aspects, right? So that's the algo trading course. The machine learning course, of course, focuses on machine learning, right? It's basically artificial intelligence for trading, right? Which, as you can imagine, artificial intelligence can drive self-driving cars. If it could drive a car by itself, think about what it could do for your investment portfolio, right? So that's why we teach machine learning. It's only getting smarter. We have Elon Musk is literally building a robot, like literally a human robot that can walk around and do things. If he could build that, what do you think you could use machine learning for in your investing, right? So that's machine learning course, and you can learn more about it here if you want. And then we also have an options trading course, which options, if you guys are familiar or not, basically what options are, is there like a more advanced kind of trading asset, right? There's futures, there's Forex, there's options, there's crypto, right? There's all these different things you could trade. Options are probably one of the more complicated ones, which is why it makes a lot of sense to use algorithms to trade options, right? There's a lot of math that you have to do, a lot of calculations. So that's the options trading course. You can look there. But right now we're discussing the algorithmic trading course, which is the one where usually people start off with, right? Okay, so let's talk about our algo trading course. So here's our different plans. We have a self-directed plan, right? Which is basically you get access to all the videos, right, of our past recorded classes. And you also get access to our community, which is here, by the way, our discussion hour, which started right now. And I actually got to join this. If you guys buy our course right now, you could actually join this right now, right? If you guys go on our website, we can give you access to this like ASAP. But here, usually what happens every Tuesday at exactly this time, right? Everyone gets on board, gets into the discussion hour channel and talks about their trading strategies and how they're doing. So it's not only about the courses that you learn from, but it's also learning from this discussion hour, right? It's learning from other students as well. It's not just about our courses. It's also about the community, right? And I want to stress that, right? And that's a big part of it. This discussion hour is voice. You don't chat. We're like over voice. So everyone's asking questions and talking and that sort of thing, right? So that's your self-directed plan. You get access to pre-recorded videos. You get access to our community, that sort of thing, right? That's your self-directed plan. Our live classes plan, this is all of that, right? You get access to our community, you get access to the pre-recorded classes, but also you get to be on this like live Zoom type chat, right? When we're actually teaching the courses, which is very important because it gets you going. Like I spoke to a student recently and he's like, I took your self-directed classes, but I need more motivation, right? And the live classes are exactly that. It's like you show up once a week, right? In this case, it's going to be a Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern, right? You show up and it motivates you. Let's get going. There's assignments. They get graded. You have other people in the class when you don't show, like, you know what I mean? Like it's that motivation behind it. And then also when you're in the class, you could ask questions, right? It's like, why did you do this? And why should we do this? And how do we do this, right? It's a live Zoom chat. So it's really the closest thing they can get to an in-person class, but over Zoom, right? And of course we do this over Zoom because this is quite a niche topic, right? Like, I mean, I don't know where you guys are from. If you guys are from New York, like in Manhattan, we'll probably have a class like this, right? You'll probably be able to do an algorithmic trading class in Manhattan that probably exists, or maybe in Brooklyn or something like that. But other than that, I mean, where are you going to go in America that teaches you how to do algorithmic trading? It's just a specific thing, right? So over Zoom, that's the way that we do it. And you can ask these questions and you get to know the instructors. I teach this course, the algorithmic trading course. But then, options trading course, we have a great instructor there. Machine learning course, we have a great instructor there. Very, very smart people. They've been doing this for a long time. They make good money for their clients. So they're great people to learn from. And that's our live classes. It's really about that live aspect. It's about, this live over Zoom, asking questions and doing that sort of thing, right? It's that motivation, right? So self-directed is the class recordings, part of the community. Live classes, you're part of like actual live classes, asking questions, and everything else from self-directed. And then our premium package, and this is the best one, where our most popular is definitely live. But if you really want to get this stuff going, you have the budget, you want to like build something like amazing, the project help and tutoring plan is definitely the way to go. And that's going to give you everything from these past two, the self-directed and live, everything in those. Plus, you're going to get that white glove service. You're going to get as much help as you possibly can ask for. We'll be on the phone with you as much as you need. We'll get developers behind this. We'll build out algorithms for you if we need to. We'll write code for you. It's a white glove service. And if you really want to build out this algorithm and you really want some help, this is the way to go. We will build these things for you. We'll be on the phone with you as long as we need to make sure that you have this algorithm exactly built the way that you want it to and get the results that you want, right? We're going to spend a lot of time with you in this project help and tutoring plan. Okay. These are the prices here. So self-directed, it's $9.50, right? For access to the videos, access to our library of code you get access to. You get access to our community, these discussion hours. It's a fantastic deal here for the self-directed. That's paid over 2 months. You don't have to pay it up front. Live classes, this is about $3,500, right? So this is paid over a 3-month period, and you get everything from the self-directed plan, plus you get, live Q&A, plus you're going to be in the class live with other people, plus you're going to get to know your classmates. You get all those extras. It's really it's really like being part of a classroom in real life, and you get a lot from that, right? The community and everything else, right? And project help and tutoring plan is about $5,300, and this is again that white glove service that we're going to help you out with everything that you need. We'll spend as much time on the phone as we need with you. We say here 12 hours one-on-one. I mean, realistically, we'll spend more than that with you if we need to. We'll even write code for you if we need to. We'll get our developers involved. This is really the white glove service, right? You guys might be seeing a little different for me. I think mine is, we just updated our website recently, so I might have to refresh my cache on my computer. But here we also have the bundles as well. If you want to buy a couple of the classes together, then you get a deal from this as well. So you guys might be seeing a little different for me. This is, I think my cache on my computer just hasn't updated yet. We've been doing caching because it speeds up our website, but on my computer it's probably not updated yet. But if you add this and you go to the other courses, if you add like options and you add machine learning, you add those together, you get discounts for all of them together, right? Okay, so Lulu asks, for these videos, how long can you access the videos? It's lifetime access. So if you get the self-directed videos, you can access them forever. If you get our live videos, not only do you get access to them forever, but you could also retake the courses as much as you want. You get access to all the videos in the future. So let's say you take the algorithmic trading course, you take it live, you go through a live course, and then in a year from now, technology gets updated and things change. As with some of our students, some of our students have taken this back a year ago. A lot of things have changed over the past year. Technology is moving fast. A lot of them will jump into our class and like take new things, or they'll watch new videos. You're more than welcome to do that. You have lifetime access to all this stuff, right? David, bought 3 courses together. I'm really happy with my decision. Worth every penny. Awesome. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And again, if you bought these courses, if you need any help with this, more than happy to help. We have our Discord community. We have all this stuff. More than happy to get on the phone with you. More than happy to get you, like my goal really is to get you guys to have these algorithms that are making lots of money. Not only because I want you guys to build this sort of stuff out, but also because we're building another product where I want to be able to take your algorithms and put them up on a website, and we can all make money. We'll make a little marketplace out of this where people can invest in your algorithms. That's the future of all this. So I care a lot about you guys making money from this stuff. This is I think a very big deal, right? Cool. Okay. So chat, very exciting. Very happy to have you part of the program as well. Thank you. Okay, cool. So let's talk about the course curriculum. This is for our algorithmic trading course. We have this for each one of our different courses, right? If you go into options course, the machine learning course, you'll see each of these curriculums. But this is for our algo trading course. Like I said, our flagship course is the one where most people start. We have 3 parts. First part is data science fundamentals. Next part is data science for finance, applying it. And third part is building a trading robot. Okay, so part 1, first week is like an introduction. We get to know each other, make sure your system's set up, that sort of thing. Week 2 is a Python refresher. So even if you don't know how to code, we'll go over Python quickly. Mind you, if you don't know how to code, it'll be moving pretty fast. So I recommend that you buy this course sooner and kind of get a jump on it, right? Start like a week ahead. I think it'd be really good, right? But even still, we've had people go through this course. I've had someone go through this course that literally didn't know how to like create a folder on her computer, didn't know how to unzip a file, didn't know how to do any of that stuff, and still had a bot running by week 8. So keep that in mind. We were able to deal with, I've taught this enough times. I know how to deal with both types of people going through the course. So week 2 is that Python refresher, but if you're new to Python, it's going to be a quick intro to Python. And you might need to spend a little bit more time than people that don't know how to code. Week 3 is this introduction of pandas. So this is like week 3 and 4. This is all about data science, and data science specifically for finance, right? Pandas, if you guys are not familiar with Python, is the #1 library that you use for data science. If you say you're a data scientist and you don't know what pandas is, I'm sorry, I don't think you're really a data scientist. You know, basically it's Python or R, and more recently it's been Python, and it's all pandas. This is when we talk about data science and you hear about the stuff in the news and all that, this is what they're using. They're using pandas. This is like the best stuff, right? And not only do we teach you that, but we also teach you how to apply that to the finance world, right? So downloading financial data, analyzing it, graphing it, all that kind of stuff is all that we teach you here, right? Part 2 goes deeper into that, right? Basically, we show you all these different data sources that you can get from economic data from Fred, finance data from Yahoo. We talk about Alpaca. We go through Quando. Like there's so many different data sources. We show you how to get data from all of them, download it, analyze it, work with all that data using pandas. We do all that sort of thing, right? So that's week 1. Week 2, week 2, 3, and 4. We really get into taking that data and actually doing a lot of productive stuff with it, right? So analyzing basically what this data is, how should we come up with a strategy from it using that kind of information. We walk you through an example strategy of that. And then we do a lot of back testing, right? Which is basically saying, let's build out a strategy and let's see how it would have performed, right? I think that's very important when you're doing your investing. It's not, I think this is a good idea. It's not, I heard this is a good idea from somewhere else. Let's use data. Let's download that data, see if it's correlated, see what's going on with like the statistical aspect of it, and then put it into a bot and back test it, see how it would have done over the past 5-10 years, right? And then we could use that to actually trade, right? And then we use that for paper trading, and then we use that with real money, right? So we have a very strict process on how to do this to make sure that you're getting the most out of this and making sure that you have algorithms that make sense and that work, right? Because I don't want you guys losing money. That's I hate that sort of thing. I want you guys to all make a ton of money from your bots. I love seeing these success stories from our students. I've seen a lot of them. We've been doing this for a while now. I've seen some great success stories. One of my students was telling me the other day he made 300% in the past 8 months. I want all of you guys to do that. You know, that's my goal, right? And this is really a big way of doing that, is back testing and making sure that what you're doing is the right thing, right? Okay, so that's part 2. And then part 3 is all about like actually making sure this robot's trading, right? So we're going to walk you through a lot of different examples. There's a lot of different example strategies that we're going to take you through. Everything from trading from Reddit to reading Gmails to trade, to fundamental analysis, to using technical analysis, RSI and Bollinger Bands, all that kind of stuff. We go through a lot of different examples on each one of these different facets. So depending on your flavor and what you want to do, we have a lot of examples around each one of these, and we'll walk you through each one of those. And then here is really about getting that bot up and running and making sure it's trading and making some money for you, right? That's what part 3 is all about. My goal, everyone by the end of the class has to have a working trading algorithm. I'll even put that as a guarantee. I'll put that in writing if you guys want. If you guys show up to class, you will have a bot that's actually trading. At least I would say, at least by the end of class, but most people by week 7, week 8, you'll actually have a working trading bot, right? So by the time you get into part 3, it's really about refining and improving that strategy and making it do exactly what you want to do, right? And then we also have the last class, we go into machine learning. It's a very introductory kind of thing, very basic. I'm not a machine learning expert. Our instructor, Greg, is. He's amazing at this. That's why we have a course revolving around him. But we go into the basics of machine learning as well here in week 4. Right. Okay, great. So that's our curriculum. Any questions around that, by the way? Any questions around our curriculum? Great. So it's the 3 parts there. It's a 12-week long course, right? So 3 months, right? We meet once a week. Here are the dates that are coming up. We have a course starting very, very soon, starting on September 30th, right? So that's next Thursday. It's every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern or 5 p.m. Pacific, okay? It runs for 12 weeks, okay? It's about 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours per week. We recommend about 8 to 12 hours of your time to dedicate towards this. And again, it's starting very soon, starting on September 30th. It, again, runs for 12 weeks, excluding holidays. I think Thanksgiving falls there, so keep in mind that, right? Yeah, so the course is starting very soon. Starts next week, right? So if you guys want to sign up, make sure you sign up. It's technically registration closes in two days. So if you guys want to sign up, make sure you sign up. The time is really running out for this one for September if you guys want to be a part of it. All right. So again, starts next week, September 30th on Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern or 5 p.m. Pacific. All right. So that's our September class. We also have another one that starts in December. This one starts on December 8th, right? Registration closed on November 24th. This one is every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern or 5 p.m. Pacific, right? So we always do it like nights, right? We've been experimenting lately with weekend classes. So if you guys are interested in that, please let me know. We can do weekend classes as well. But yeah, again, this is 12 weeks long, excluding holidays, right? It just falls on Christmas and New Year's. So, be mindful of that. Again, it's 2 hours per week, 2 to 3 hours of actual lectures, and then 8 to 12 hours per week of self-paced learning is what we recommend. This one, if you want to sign up for a December class, we actually have a special that ends on October 24th. So you can save an additional 20%. We do this early bird discount. So if you guys want to sign up early, you save an extra 20%. All right. So that's our September class and our December class. So September starts September 30th, which is basically next week on Thursday. And then December class starts on December 8th. Right. Okay, and then you can go through this. We have our class projects, right? So our 2 class projects is the first class project is analyzing your investment strategies, right? So we do a lot of presentations in class. So you get a chance to present your ideas. You get to see other people present as well. It's very good, very interactive. A lot of people even do group projects as well. Okay. So project 1 is analyzing your investment strategies. And then project 2 is actually building a live trading robot, right? So those are 2 projects, and you get to do a lot of presentations and see other people's presentations throughout that, right? Okay. If you want to read a little bit more about myself, here's some information about me. Feel free to Google me, LinkedIn me, whatever. I got, more than happy to share my background with you guys. And then here's also some testimonials with some of our past students. We keep adding more and more, just trying to record these as quickly as possible. But basically, you'll read from everything. A game, for example, never knew how to code before he came to us, learned how to code, build his own trading bots. Really smart guy, done some amazing things. Santayan, this guy's been making tons of money. He's the guy that I was mentioning earlier, made like 300% in 8 months, doing some really, really cool things. Joel, really smart guy. This guy actually works in Silicon Valley, work on a Waymo, self-driving cars, and loves doing this this kind of stuff with us with algorithmic trading. Honestly, one of our best students, really doing some really cool stuff. All these guys as well, you can watch their videos on YouTube. You could also go on our Discord. I mean, go into, take a look at this, Algo Trading Alumni, right? A game. This is the same guy here, right? You can ask them questions. Santayan, you'll probably see up here. They're very active in our community. Brassy, Jay, that's Joel, right? You guys can ask them questions if you want. They're very active in our community. I actually feel a little bad that I'm not part of this discussion hour right now, but I will be joining this in a second. So if you guys want to buy this course now, you actually be able to join us in discussion hour. But yeah, read our testimonials or watch, or talk to us on Discord. More than happy to share all this stuff with you guys. Be part of our community. Join our courses. This is awesome. You guys seem like a great group as well. So would be happy to have you part of all these things. All right, cool. So we got a chat here. Add you on LinkedIn. Thanks for the amazing info. I'm looking forward into the bundle. Awesome. And let me know, David, how it goes, and more than happy to jump on calls with you if you have any questions. Join our community. I don't know if I added you yet to the discussion hour, but it's going on right now, so you can join that as well. All right. Yeah, and I guess that's it. Going through the course and going through everything. Yeah. So any questions that you guys have before we finish for the day? It's been really fun. You guys have been a really good group. Lots of good questions. You guys obviously know your stuff. Definitely really liked being part of this with you guys. Do you have any questions for me? Any last questions? I know you guys are asking throughout, but here's a chance to ask a few more. I definitely feel like I need to join this discussion hour. I feel like everyone's having a good conversation though. You could tell when in the discussion hour, we have a decent amount of people here. Just a reminder that discussion hour started. It's a little reminder for people, but discussion hour is always a fun time. A lot of people share their strategies and whatnot through discussion hour. So it's really, like I said, it's not just about our courses, it's also about the community, right? So cool. Okay. I don't see anyone posting questions. I feel like you guys have been asking a lot of questions throughout. So I'll give it a few more seconds, but I feel like we can probably call it after that. Like I said, it's been fantastic having you guys on board. Thank you very much. I love all these questions. This has been a great presentation. I love having people like you guys on board. And hopefully see you guys in these classes. The next one starts next week. Juan says, thank you for all the info. Very cool stuff. Look forward to joining September class. Have a great night. Will be great to see you as well, Juan. I'll see you guys, hopefully see all of you guys next week in the course, and let's build some cool stuff together. Like this is awesome. I love these things, so I don't know if you can tell my passion, but hopefully you guys feel the same, and hopefully see you guys next week, and let's build some cool stuff together. All right, thank you guys. Hope you guys have a great night, and thank you again for attending. It's been a pleasure having you guys on board. Lots of great questions, lots of great people here, clearly. And again, hopefully see you next week. All right. Have a good night, guys. Cheers. Thank you, David, as well.